The time has come for the next generation to chase their dreams across the Canadian countryside. The new season of This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada starts now. The 2016 season of the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada can be summed up in one word: command.
He hoisted 4 tournament trophies this year. Now he's hosting the most important trophy of the year because it earns you exempt status the entire year on the Web.com Tour. The 2016 Player of the Year, Dan McCarthy.
The last 3 players of the year all got their PGA Tour cards this year, so that's a great model to follow in their footsteps, and I hope I can do that. I'm going to continue to try to work as hard as I can in the off-season, go out on the Web.com Tour and represent the Mackenzie Tour as best as I can.
2016 Player of the Year, Dan McCarthy was in command of his game, of the Order of Merit, and of the Mackenzie Tour.
I don't even know how to describe it. I think it gives you a pretty good appreciation for things like Tiger Woods did back in the day. His game's just so steady, and his short game's world class.
I think he just knows what he does well, and he owns that. He goes about his business in the way that he's going to perform his best.
The Syracuse, New York native solidified his position early on with a win at the season-opening Freedom 55 Financial Open in Vancouver, and never looked back. McCarthy set a Mackenzie Tour record, becoming the first player in history to capture 4 titles in one season.
Probably one of the best years in professional golf, if not the best. To win 4 times on any tour is incredible.
Dan had an unbelievable year. Winning 4 times that year is really spectacular. I mean, he's so solid and he's so consistent. He makes very good decisions, doesn't make any mistakes.
I put a ton of work into this, and I had a lot of near misses where I just didn't play well enough at the right time. To finally have such a big year when it's so important for me is just incredibly satisfying.
While the veteran was staking his claim to the Player of the Year title, some up-and-comers were jockeying for position inside the top 10. Out of the remaining 8 champions from 2016, 6 were under the age of 25. And of those 6, 2, Taylor Moore and Aaron Wise, earned top 5 positions and trips to the Web.com Tour.
Knowing that all the hard work I've put in the last year or 2 in general have paid off, and getting the Web.com Tour card, hopefully I get to play a full season there and then move on to the PGA Tour.
I just learned a lot about myself. I'm excited to get out there and compete. You know, I feel like my game matches up pretty well to everybody in every golf course, so I'm excited to see how I'm going to go handle different situations and compete.
The Web.com Tour. It's the next step on the path to the PGA Tour. The top 25 players on the Web.com Tour money list at the end of the regular season earn a PGA Tour card. And our Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada alumni are already making their mark. 4 are currently within the top 25 and 13 reside inside the top 75. Leading the charge this season, 2016 grad Ethan Tracy already has a win under his belt with a playoff victory at the Club Columbia Championship by Servan Trejo, and is in the top 5 on the money list.
Sam Ryder, a lot of people saying he's one of those to take the jump to the PGA Tour.
Sam Ryder is taking another step closer to the PGA Tour as well. The 2015 Mackenzie Tour alum has 2 top 10 finishes and currently sits 18th on the Web.com Tour's money list.
Just got off to a good start. That's what it's really all about. Kind of snowball that into a good season, for sure.
Canadian Corey Connors has also started strong.
Here's Corey Connors.
Making a move up this leaderboard, big part of Team Canada. And look at that, a hole out deuce at the 6th.
The Ontario native occupies the 26th spot on the Order of Merit thanks to 2 top 10 finishes of his own.
There's a great caliber of players at every level, but I think the players are just a little more fine-tuned at each step. So that's what I'm trying to build on my game, to just get a little bit better in every aspect.
And what about those other youngsters? Well, 2015 grad Taylor Gooch tops the list.
Taylor Gooch, guy that sort of cut his teeth up in the Mackenzie Tour, PGA Tour Canada the last couple of years. How about that roll then?
The 25-year-old already has a top 5, a top 10, and a top 15 on his 2017 scorecard.
Taylor Moore on the Mackenzie Tour a year ago, finding himself on the Web.com Tour and kicking off his rookie season in fine form. How about that?
Wow.
Awfully sporty shot by the 23-year-old.
Taylor Moore is holding his own with 3 top 20 finishes thus far, while Aaron Wise has a top 5 on his resume and sits solidly inside the top 30 on the Order of Merit. Meanwhile, Dan McCarthy is steadily working his way up the board.
He was #1 on the Mackenzie Tour money list last year. 4 wins and a second. I think he's just carried it forward.
The veteran is currently 32nd on the money list, just 7 spots shy of the coveted 25. Up next on This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada.
It's been a fun journey from Mackenzie Tour to Web.com to here.
We check in with our graduates who are making a name for themselves on the PGA Tour.
And he's got it.
Boy, is that nice.
Rookie's showing you something here.
This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. A true proving ground for success, the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada continues to springboard its former stars into the PGA Tour spotlight. This season, several alumni are having great success on the PGA Tour, with 31 top 25 finishes, 16 top 10s, and 2 top 3s, including 1 victory, proving Mackenzie Tour alumni are a force to be reckoned with. Since his victory at the RSM Classic, Canadian Mackenzie Hughes has posted 1 top 10 and 3 top 25s.
One tough customer, Mackenzie Hughes.
He recently tied for 16th at the Players' Championship, catapulting him into the 17th spot on the FedEx Cup standings and earning him the best alumni finish of the season.
It's been a fun journey from Mackenzie Tour to Web.com to here. I've had my share of downs, but I've also had some nice ups, and the ups far outweigh, the downs I had. You remember all those moments where you struggled and you had those tough times, and it makes being here that much sweeter.
Another Canadian having a great year is Nick Taylor. He's posted 3 top 10s on the season and stands 73rd in the FedEx Cup. And CT Pan posted a T6 at the RSM Classic and a T2 at the Farmers Insurance Open.
From Taiwan, please welcome CT Pan.
PGA Tour was always like a dream. Golf is a tough game. When the opportunity comes, you have to seize it.
Tony Finau put himself in position with 3 top 5s this season, including a T3 finish at the Valero Texas Open. Finau is among several alumni ranked inside the top 125 in the FedEx Cup standings, including Mackenzie Hughes, JJ Spawn, CT Pan, and Nick Taylor. The Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada has paved the way for many players to make their PGA Tour dreams a reality. And this season, a new crop of players will take that first step towards achieving those goals. The first step on the path to the PGA Tour begins this week in Vancouver at the Freedom 55 Financial Open as part of the inaugural BC Golf Swing, a joint initiative with Destination British Columbia. The Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada then heads across the bay to Victoria for the Bayview Place Cardtronics Open presented by Times Colonist, where Adam Cornelsen stepped into the winner's circle for the first time, sparking a great year which eventually netted him Freedom 55 Financial Canadian Player of the Year honors.
That's what we work for all year. There's so many great Canadians coming up through the ranks. It's a lot of validation of hard work. It's not over yet. I need to keep working hard and harder, and just shows that the work you put in, results will follow, so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Next up, the tour heads to Gallagher's Canyon Golf and Country Club in Kelowna for the Golf BC Championship. In its inaugural year, the event made a huge impact for the BC Cancer Foundation and is primed to build on that legacy in year 2.
Right from the get-go, our whole philosophies have been about raising money for charities, and with the BC Cancer Foundation being our #1 beneficiary, Golf BC is very happy to be a part of that.
For the 4th event of the season, the Tour heads to Winnipeg, Manitoba for the Players' Cup. And it's where Dan McCarthy walked into the record books, becoming the first player in Mackenzie Tour history to win 3 times in one season. After Winnipeg, we head to Thunder Bay, Ontario for the fan favorite Stahl Foundation Open presented by T-Baytel at Whitewater Golf Club, where the focus has always been on giving back to families with children battling cancer.
The funds that have been raised are so critical for us. They allow us to do more for these families. It also allows us to do more outreach into the Northwestern Ontario region.
Once we established ourselves in the game of hockey, it was always our goal to find a way to give back to our community. And when you enjoy being part of the community and the people that are trying to raise money for a great cause, it is a lot of fun. Hopefully it can just keep getting better.
The first half of the season concludes with a brand new event, the Mackenzie Investments Open presented by Jaguar Laval and Montreal, Quebec. The top 3 players on the order of merit following this event will earn exemptions into the RBC Canadian Open at the end of July. After the break, life on the PGA Tour can be one wild ride. And we see how Ontario's own Mackenzie Hughes is navigating this latest journey.
In order to have the success you want to have, you need to be working harder than the guy next to you.
All that and more next. This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. The road to the PGA Tour can be a long, hard grind. But for those Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada alumni who've already made it to the highest level, life is particularly sweet.
For us to take a day off of work and to come out here and not only look at the sea life around Maui, but to actually feed the turtles and to touch a jellyfish. You don't really get that opportunity very often.
Once-in-a-lifetime experiences abound.
This is my culture. It's just amazing to be surrounded by more Polynesian people. Just even more motivation to win again this year and be back here next year. I guess dreams do come true. It's awesome to start my career this way.
For PGA Tour rookie CT Pan, it's been a storybook beginning. One that included a trip to the Rio Olympic Games last summer to represent his home country of Taiwan.
It's a huge honor to represent my country and my people to play in such a big event.
And now he's ready for the climb.
It's like a dream come true. I want to make sure that I play my best out here so I don't have regrets.
While CT Pan scaled new heights earlier this year...
So that's the easiest one? Sorry. You gotta be kidding me.
Rookie Mackenzie Hughes started his season in paradise.
This is our first time being in Hawaii, and being able to do these trips and all that stuff is just a lot of fun. And you know, it's a big honor to you to be with these great players too. That whale jumping out of the water was unreal. I mean, I wish I got my camera out fast enough, but to see stuff like this, experience these things, and just to be here is really cool.
Similar to his time in Hawaii, Hughes' life on tour will be full of exciting new experiences, and he looks forward to the next chapter of his rookie campaign.
The biggest thing is just being able to play against the best players in the world on a week-to-week basis. That stuff to me is what I get excited for.
My name is Mackenzie Hughes.
Fresh face in the winner's circle on the PGA Tour.
My journey is nowhere near the beginning.
First on the tee from Ontario, Canada.
And although I currently call Charlotte home, my Canadian pride still runs deep. They even named a tour after me. Well, maybe not. Success is never owned, it is rented. And the rent is due every day.
This motto is something Mackenzie Hughes takes to heart. The 26-year-old has seen a lot in just 4 years of professional golf, including his first PGA Tour win at the RSM Classic, where he survived a 5-man playoff in just his 5th start of the 2016-2017 season.
One tough customer, Mackenzie Hughes. It's all over.
It all happened in the span of, 5-10 seconds where you just had this flash of, all the hard times, all the great times, and you realize where you've come from and where you are now.
Oh my God.
A heralded Canadian amateur, the Kent State alum turned pro in 2013 and tried his luck on the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. He found success early, capturing his first professional win, and in turn, the Tour's Order of Merit title.
I was just comfortable in Canada, and that was probably, one of the biggest factors to me playing really well. To win on the Mackenzie Tour, where it provides you with an avenue to go to the next step, it made it that much more special and important.
But in Hughes' first season on the Web.com Tour,
all of a sudden, pro golf hit me back.
He missed more than half of his cuts and finished no better than T46.
The moment that you think you've made it, is the moment it could all be taken away from you. But mentally, I started to break down, and I was just changing things too much and not sticking with what got me to where I was. You're questioning your entirety of your career, and in those dark moments, you have those flashes of, okay, maybe it's not for me, maybe I'm gonna stop playing. But those experiences I had on the Web.com Tour were not for nothing. I learned a lot from them. So I kind of had a renewed sense of purpose as to what I needed to do.
Hughes went back to the Mackenzie Tour where he regained his form.
In order to have the success you want to have, you need to be working harder than the guy next to you. That's something I've always prided myself on, is being the hardest worker that I can be.
But he persevered and made it back to the Web.com Tour in 2016. And just 3 weeks before the start of finals, sitting 140th on the money list, he posted 3 top 10s, including his maiden victory.
I was really playing for my Web.com security at that point. Playing with that over your head for the 5, 6, 7 weeks at the end of the year, when you're already pretty gassed, is pretty tough. That was a huge testament to how strong I feel like I am mentally. I just told myself that it was my time to win.
This season has to be pretty sweet, earning his PGA Tour card. Well done, Mackenzie.
Now settled on the PGA Tour with a title under his belt and his new wife Jenna by his side, Mackenzie Hughes is truly living the dream.
I don't want to say I've made it, because there's still a long way to go, but to be playing on the best tour in the world just validates that you're working on the right things, and that all the hard work was not for nothing. I'm just really excited for what the future holds.
Players working to join Mackenzie Hughes on the PGA Tour will have to turn up the intensity once the second half of the season gets underway at the Syncrude Oil Country Championship presented by Acon in Edmonton, Alberta. It's where NCAA champion Aaron Wise captured his first title on the way to a top 5 finish on the Order of Merit.
We don't get many opportunities as young guys turning pro, and you got to take advantage of every one of them. It's crazy, I didn't think it would be possible this quickly.
The tour then makes its annual stop at Country Hills Golf Club in Calgary for the ATB Financial Classic, before heading back east to Ottawa for the National Capital Open to support our troops at Highlands Golf Club. Last season, it was veteran Brock Mackenzie who survived a 7-hole playoff for his 3rd career victory.
I'm one of the older guys out here. It definitely has been a journey. Winning is hard, and I don't take it for granted, and that was kind of a surprise one for me.
The beautiful village of Bedeque, Nova Scotia is the site of the 10th event on the Mackenzie Tour schedule. It's home to the Cape Breton Open and Dan McCarthy's record-setting 4th victory of the 2016 season. The tour will wrap up its season at the Freedom 55 Financial Championship in London, Ontario, where the top 60 on the Order of Merit compete for the chance to move up to the Web.com Tour. There are plenty of opportunities to catch the next wave of stars in the game of golf as the Mackenzie Tour moves from coast to coast. You can see all the action starting with the British Columbia Golf Swing this week, or later on as the tour moves through Winnipeg, Ontario, and Quebec to close out the first half of the summer. When the second half of the season gets underway, they'll be in Alberta, before teeing it up in Ottawa, Nova Scotia, and finally Ontario for the season-ending Freedom 55 Financial Championship. Coming up on This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada.
Give it up for the Mackenzie Tour golfers.
We take one last look at all the fun from the 2016 season before looking ahead at what's to come. This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. While life on the road can definitely be a grind, players always manage to find time for fun outside the ropes.
Oh! I was aiming for the bottom one.
We're gonna have a beautiful day. We're gonna have a little tour, a little tasty, a little bit of fun.
We're not gonna waste good wine. So whenever we try good wine, I'm gonna savor it and I'm gonna drink it. Cheers.
There was time to take in the beauty of the Canadian countryside.
Oh my word.
And pick up a new hobby or two.
I got the one horse to win. Do it, one!
And while players had an exciting year off the course, 2016 marked a new milestone for the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada as they passed the $1 million mark in charitable giving. The highest recorded contribution in PGA Tour Canada history, further demonstrating how the impact of the game reaches far beyond the ropes.
To have the growth that we've had and be able to pass the $1 million milestone this year is just unbelievable. And it's all a tribute to the tournament organizations, the volunteers, and the other key element is the players themselves.
As the tour goes across Canada, we stop in these communities and the funds are directed at these cities and towns where the tour stop is. So it's not just a national program, it is specific to the tour stops and giving back directly to the communities where the tournament is taking place.
The 2016 season of competition was cemented with many memories that won't soon be forgotten. But with this season beginning, we're excited for new faces and new memories. We kick it off this week in the beautiful city of Vancouver with the Freedom 55 Financial Open. We'll have all the highlights from Point Grey Golf and Country Club next week on This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada.